Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Atlanta Business Radio, and this is going to be a good one. But before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, OnPay. Please support them so we can continue to share these stories. Today on Atlanta Business Radio, we have Dawn Kirk, and she is with Pruuvn. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you.
Now, before we get too far into things, tell us about Pruuvn. How are you serving folks?
Well, I want to tell a quick story, just kind of how we got started. And our CEO's wife was filling out employment forms for a new job one day. And the CEO noticed how cumbersome and how time-consuming and unreliable the process was. And he started thinking to himself, there's got to be a better way to verify credentials. And this was the inspiration behind the company initially. His wife was in the education system. After doing some additional research, he found that most educators in that particular area were working more than one job. And so he evolved the company into a much bigger marketplace platform, which is the gig economy, which you know is about $650 billion business. So that's how we came on the scene, and that's how we got started.
So then it started out as just a way to kind of make sure the person is who they say they are, and verify them as a good employee. Absolutely.
Started out as just verifying credentials only, and now is involved to more of a marketplace, with the central idea being verified credentials, but also being able to now match employers with employees.
So,
gig workers.
Right. So, and the gig economy, like you mentioned, it's getting larger every day, right? Like this isn't going away. This is kind of where the future of employment is probably going to be, right?
Absolutely. And what we've seen, particularly through this COVID season, that it's expanding and accelerating like never before.
So now the platform, let's work through the platform. If I'm a person who wants these gigs, there's a place for me there, right?
Yeah, so our platform has two elements to it. There is a business-to-business side, and there is a business-to-consumer side. So on the business-to-business side, we help employers reduce the cost to find, retain, and onboard task-based workers. And when we say task-based workers or gig workers, we're talking about those individuals that are contractors, 1099 type of workers, and typically work multiple jobs across various industries. On the B2C side, we help gig workers verify, store, and share their verified credentials and help match them to employers that they're looking to work with.
So now what's a type of credential that can be verified? Is it like that says, I know how to do Microsoft Word? Is that a credential? Or is it more like I'm, an American citizen and I have proof of citizenship?
Yeah, so it's your standard background check. So we're going to verify work history, background, criminal checks can be run, as well as DMV if that's what the employer is looking for. So all of your standard type of background check information can be verified through our platform.
And then how are you different from some of the other people that are in this space?
So a couple different things that differentiate us. Number one, we are 100% user controlled. So as a B2C user, you have complete control of your credentials, who you share it with, when you share it. Number two, you can transfer those credentials between employers. So if you want to work for one employer and you send your credentials there, you can also send them to another employer. And then the third way, which is probably the most important, is that we provide a very secure solution that is blockchain enabled, which has an unchangeable ID validator that enables sharing of data. And again, it's very secure because, as you can imagine, with all the identity theft and things that are going on in the country, people are very leery to give out a lot of personal information on platforms. But we have very secure blockchain solutions behind it.
So if I'm just a person that's looking for an opportunity, I can put in kind of my resume or my credentials, and then other companies could then contact me and through the platform.
Correct.
And is there a fee
Correct.
for me to do that?
Yeah, so we have a subscription-based platform. So for the user side, there is a free version. There's also 3 other subscription levels. One's $2.99, $5.99, and $7.99, depending upon the level of credentialing that you're looking to secure and the number of employers you'd like to be able to share with. And then on the business-to-business side, that is based on, it's a subscription as well. It's a tiered service based on how many total users you're bringing to the platform. And again, what level of verified services you're looking to run.
Now, do you specialize in any industry, or is there more of a certain industry that uses your platform?
Yeah, so we don't necessarily specialize, but we are targeting some very specific industries. Those include on-demand delivery companies, rideshare companies, and then corporations that have large populations of contract workers and or seasonal workers.
So now it sounds like the work that's being done is kind of local. Do you also offer kind of gigs that are where I can be anywhere and work anywhere?
Absolutely. So we do work nationwide. Absolutely.
So
our users can be anywhere.
Right. So the user can be anywhere, but like if I'm a delivery person, I'm going to only be delivering probably in my area. But is there work that I can be doing? Like say I'm a writer, I can write for anybody anywhere. Do you do that kind of work as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's no geographical boundaries with our platform.
And then so it would travel with me. If I moved, then I still have access to the platform and I still could benefit for, all my stuff's still out there. I can just change my address.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we are able to pull background checks across all 50 states.
So now, when did you know that this is something that, when did you kind of first get the hint that this is going to be a platform that people are going to use? When did you start seeing traction?
So number one, it started with just the research we were doing and realized how big of a opportunity this was when we started to look at the number of business being done through gig economy. And number two, looking at the costs associated with background checks, both from the employer side as well as if employees or contract workers have to do it themselves. So we wanted to provide an easy way for those checks to be done. And most importantly, so you don't have to keep running them over and over again, that you could stay current and ready to go, really shortening that window from interest to employment, which is a pretty, 2 to 3 week window, depending upon who you're using and what level of credentialing you are looking for.
So now, are you getting feedback from the people using it? Are they finding it to be useful and they're getting opportunities?
Absolutely. So number one, it's a very user-friendly platform is the feedback that we're getting. Number two, from a user perspective, they really like the fact that once they have their credentials, they are ready to go. So they have a competitive advantage against those that don't have their credentials ready to go. So again, they're in better position to land those roles. From a business perspective, they really enjoy it because, again, it's saving them significant costs. And again, it's reducing their time to onboard and get people into roles based on being on this system and having the access to users who are already been verified and ready to go.
Now, from the user standpoint, how quickly what's the personal best in terms of I put my stuff on there and then I got an opportunity? Is that something that takes weeks or months, or is this something that can happen fairly quickly?
It depends on what kind of companies they're looking for and the companies that we have on the platform at that time, but it could happen pretty immediately. So if they get on the platform, put their credentials in, get their verified credentials back, see an opportunity, apply, the time frame really is then dependent upon the company on the other side, following through on the interview and extending the offer. So it could be as quick as a couple days. It could be as long as a couple weeks. It really depends on the company they're applying for. But either way, it's still a very shorter process than if they went through the traditional hiring process.
Now, from the business standpoint, is this better suited for the businesses that need hundreds of people or just like a few people?
It can work either way, but I would say that probably the biggest benefit would be for companies looking for large numbers of people and want to get on the ground quickly. Particularly, think about corporations that have large seasonal timeframes and they're looking for thousands and sometimes hundreds of thousands of people. This would dramatically improve their process and their length of time to get those workers in place.
So now how do you
it can work for somebody looking for one person, or it can work for somebody looking for thousands of people.
Now, how do you get the word out? Because you want to get as many people on both sides of the equation on the platform. So how do people like gig workers know to even use your service? And then how do the businesses know this is available to them?
Yeah, so we were asking people to contact us on our website, which is www.pruuvn, Pruuvn.com, or text the word gig, which is capital GIG, to 22452.
Good stuff. Well, Dawn, congratulations on all the success. It sounds like you guys are doing a lot of amazing things over there.
Absolutely. We're very excited.
And then once again, the website is Pruuvn, Pruuvn.com.
Correct.
All right, Dawn, thank you so much for being part of the show today.
Thank you for having us.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We will see you all next time on Atlanta Business Radio. And remember, we could not be sharing these stories without the support of our sponsor, OnPay. So please support them so we can continue to tell these important stories.
Today's episode of Atlanta Business Radio is brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com.